Night 2. I don't even know where to begin. It was awful. I should have never gone back to that place. I arrived early, at around 4:30. I walked all around the building searching for the handyman. I checked everywhere. Everywhere except the gymnasium. A wave of fear washed over me as I remembered that creature. I pictured her standing right behind me. Just as I was about to walk toward the gymnasium, I remembered the man's words. "Son, whatever you do not go into that room after nightfall." I assumed, since it was not yet dark outside, it would be safe. I was wrong. I opened the door to that place at 4:50. Sunset. The stench of death was overwhelming. I vomited. But at this point, I didn't care. I wanted answers. I looked all around the gym, only to find nothing. Just as I was about to leave, I noticed something. A door. I walked up to it. Though every fiber of my being told me not to, I opened the door. It was a very old, very decayed stairwell behind it that led down into the dark depths. The feeling of being watched came over me once again. Something told me if I wanted answers, I would find them down there. As fearful as I was, I grabbed my flashlight and my pocket knife and descended into the dark depths. As soon as I walked down the very first step, the door slammed shut. 4:55. I tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. I had no choice but to walk down and hope there was another way out. The stairway went down for what seemed like forever. It was definitely deeper than the basement. I walked for what seemed like hours, but in reality, it was only 30 minutes. I swore I heard scratching behind me. I didn't dare turn around. My only chance was to find an alternate way out. The smell of death only intensified. Oh, how badly I wanted to turn around. But what would be the point? The door was locked. I finally reached the bottom. It looked like what I picture abandoned mental asylums to look like, except there was dried blood all over the floor and walls. It was dimly lit with fluorescent lights, one every several feet. I was hesitant to move at all, but I had to move forward. I had to get out of here and never come back. The doors were rusted, reinforced steel doors. I didn't want to open them at all. I remember I had brought a camera with me to try and catch these creatures on film, so I took pictures of the hallway. I constantly heard scratching as I walked down the seemingly endless corridor, scratching and screeching. I knew what it was. It was the creature, rejoicing that I was trapped in its lair. 6:30. I had been walking for a long time, frequently stopping to vomit because the smell of death was overpowering now. The only thing that kept me going was proving this place exists. I saw one of the reinforced steel doors opened, scratch marks all over the door. I didn't want to go in, but something told me that in there I would find a way out. So I took a deep breath of the foul, rotten air and pressed on. What I saw in there made me immediately vomit. The room was covered in human flesh. The walls, the floor, everything. I tried to back away, but the door slammed shut and would not budge. I screamed as loud as I could for hours. 8:30. I couldn't scream anymore. I had nothing left to vomit, so I was dry heaving, lying on the flesh-covered floor. I knew she was coming. I knew she was coming to devour me, but I couldn't give up. I looked for an escape, beating the walls, feeling the floor. My flashlight died a long time ago, so I had to resort to using the camera flash as an alternate means of lighting. I made out what seemed to be a weakness in the wall, so I walked over to it. I stepped in something I didn't even want to think about. That's when I heard the growling. My hands were trembling, but I raised the camera and took a picture. What I saw was that creature eating the handyman. I couldn't even scream. I was paralyzed with fear, but not for long. I turned away and ran at the wall. It took several charges, but the wall broke down. I think it was a stairway behind it. I ran up blindly. That creature was following me close behind. She tripped me on occasion, scratching my chest and face, but I always got up and ran up the stairs. I finally reached what I thought to be a door. I opened it. Thank God it was unlocked. I slammed the door shut and barricaded it with a nearby heavy box. I looked around. I was in the cafeteria freezer, where human meat was being stored. Were they feeding kids this? I didn't have time to guess. That creature would be through the door any minute. I ran out of the freezer into the cafeteria and locked the doors to the gym and cafeteria immediately. And then I left. I didn't clean. I didn't care. I got home and cried. I cleaned my wounds and cried. I had to prove what they were doing. Those sick freaks. But how? I had pictures, but they wouldn't prove anything because there was no evidence it was inside the school. I have to go to the police. It was the only way. I'll let you know how it goes.